Good day everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about uh, IFVGs, okay, and how I trade IFVGs with the two pairs that I trade, which is Nasdaq and ES. But I mainly trade Nasdaq and sometimes I trade ES. Okay, so we are going to focus on IFVGs. I know I've already done a video on IFVGs, but I'm going to go over again, talk about my entire model, everything about what I do when I'm going to have a trade, and I'll give you guys examples. I'll do examples on the chart for you to also see. Okay, so on my chart, you can clearly see that the chart on my left is Nasdaq. What's the bottom left? You find out that is Nasdaq. Okay, so the chart at the bottom here is Nasdaq. The one at the bottom here, the one on my left is Nasdaq, and the one on my right is ES, aiming ESMP, and this is Nasdaq. Okay, they are all futures markets. Okay, so what we are going to talk about is pretty simple, so simple. Okay, so what do I do? Like when it's time for me to trade, what do I do, and what times do I trade? Okay, so first of all, one thing that I consider is time. Okay, I always consider time before price. Okay, so as a first trader, you need to have a session at which you trade, a session at which you participate in the market. Okay, you don't have to be 24/7, 24 hours in a day staring at the charts. Okay, that wouldn't make it profitable. Okay, you're just going to strain your eyes. So, what times do I trade? Okay, I trade from 9:30, 9:30, sorry, 9:30 a.m. to 11 o'clock. This is Eastern Standard Time. Okay, that's UTC minus 4. As you can see at the bottom here. Okay, you need to change your distance here to this one, New York. Okay, New York, UTC minus 4. Okay. And to get these charts, they come with a premium version of TradingView as the Nasdaq and the ES. Or else, if you open them, if you don't have a premium of TradingView and you open these charts, at the top here, you see a certain D. Okay, you see a D here, which is in orange. That shows you that what your chart is being delayed, and that's not what the live chart. So you can't actually use it for analysis. You are being delayed. Okay, so to get a live chart and the current price of Nasdaq and ES, you need to pay for it, and it's $7. Okay, it's just $7. Then you just subscribe to TradingView Premium. Then you add the $7 to it. Then you make that payment. So I trade from 9:30 to 11 a.m. Sorry, 9:30 a.m. to 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Then at that time, I'm always looking for a liquidity sweep. Okay. I'm looking for a liquidity sweep from 9:30 to 11. I need a liquidity sweep. Okay. And we all know that liquidity rests below what swing lows and swing highs. Okay. So if you have something like this, okay, sorry, maybe something like this. Okay, so you see that what liquidities rest around this area here. They rest at the swing lows. Okay, they rest at the swing lows, and if it's a a swing low which is like um, how do I say this? Uh, if it's a swing low, okay, and sorry, if it's a swing low, we call it sell stops, and if it's a swing high, we call it buy stops. Okay, forgive me for the small misunderstanding. So if it's a swing low like this, we call it what? Sell stops. Okay, so sell stops rest below the swing low, and sell stops also rest below the swing low. And it's a swing high. Okay, swing highs like this. Okay, swing highs buy stops. So swing highs, liquidities rest on top of swing highs in the form of buy stops, and liquidities rest below swing lows in the form of sell stops. So if you look at this chart that I have here, you can see that what there is a swing below here. Okay, so um, this one here, this what that's a sell stop. Okay, so there's a sell stop. This is this is sell stop. This is sell stop. Okay, there's a buy stop. Okay, there are buy stops here. You understand? Resting here, a lot of them. There are buy stops here. There's a sell stop. These are sell stops. Okay, so these are sell stops. These are sell stops, and there's a buy stop. Okay, why am I calling them sell stops and buy stops? Or how would you be able to identify them? Okay, if you look at the market structure, okay, this is what a bearish market structure. Okay, so you can see that it's creating what lower lows and lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower lows. Okay, so to be able to identify sell stops and buy stops in this price leg, we see that let's start with sell stops. For sell stops, we see that for the candles, the middle candles wick, okay, the middle candles wick is the longest between the what the first candle that precedes it and the what the next candle that was what that comes after it. So the candle before and the candle after, the middle candle will have the longest wick. And it's the same for the buy stops also. You see that you have it here. Then you see the candle before it has a high, but it doesn't go past the middle one's high. Then the one here also has a high, but it doesn't go past the middle one's high. Okay. So this is a what? This is a buy stop and this is a what? A sell stop. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So if you look at um, if you look at if you look at this area here, okay, you see that what this middle candle here, okay, the candle on the left, the low, the swing below, sorry, the candle low, okay, the low of this candle doesn't go past this one here, and the low of this candle doesn't go past this one, so this is what is swing below, okay. If you look at this one here also, you can see that the high, this candle has a high, you see the wick is too small, but the candle wick here, okay, or the shadow doesn't go past what this one's what wick or shadow. And the one here also doesn't go past the middle one's wick or shadow. So this is what a swing high or call it was buy stops. And the same thing here, the same analogy here, and the same thing here. Okay, the same thing here, the same thing, the same thing here. So these are what liquidities, okay, and I prefer them to be swept, okay, at 9:30 to 11 o'clock EST. So from 9:30 to 11, I'm looking for liquidity sweeps, okay. Then sorry. So after the liquidity sweeps, I look for what SMTs, okay. Looking for SMTs at the liquidity what sweep. Then I go for my what the entry function, which is the what IOVGs, okay. So someone will ask, what time frame should I use? I use the what the 1 hour, okay. The 1 hour liquidity sweeps, and for the SMTs also I look for the what the 1 hour what SMTs, okay. I look for 1 hour SMTs at the liquidity sweeps, but for the IAVGs I look for what 1 minute what 1 minute IAVGs. This is all what I do, okay. This 4 steps is all what I do from 9:30 to 11. Okay, so we are going to go through a series of them to see how they look like and how you would have how we would be able to catch um, setups from what these liquidity levels. Okay, so but before that, you can see that on my chart I have this line here which I call the daily EQ. For the daily EQ, if you go to the daily chart, okay, it shows 50% of the whole daily range. Okay, the midpoint of the whole daily range. So if you go to the daily chart, which is down here, because it's on a D, which is what I'm on the daily chart here, the same thing here. If you take your sorry, if you take your Fibonacci, okay, then you mark from the high to the low, okay, and create something like this. Okay, that's 50%. You see that what if you mark from the high to the low of the entire daily candle. You see, this is a Friday candle, this is a Thursday candle. So I'm doing for Friday. So for just Friday on Nasdaq, the midpoint of that candle, I go to the 1 minute, you'll find out that what you see my 0.5 lies exactly on what daily weekly. Okay, but trying to see make this thing visible. Let me make these lines visible for you so that this line. So I want to try and make this bigger, and I want to make this one black, then I want to make this one also black. No, this is not that one. I want it, okay, left, no, then right.
I can. Short you one of Bills with wings.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. So when I go to the 1 minute, you see it's very, very clear. Okay, so you can see that that's how we mark our daily EQ. Okay, so it marks the daily EQ from what it shows you that what the high of that Friday here started around this area here. Okay, and it normally starts at 18 o'clock. So if you look at the bottom down there where the time is, you see that I'm trying to look for 18 o'clock. Okay, which is around just around here somewhere. So you can see that we started the whole day around somewhere here. Yes, okay. So we started the day around here. Okay. So the daily that candle for Friday started printing at 18 o'clock, and that's the exact thing. It starts printing at 18 o'clock, and from here onwards to the downside, the highest it has ever went. The highest it ever went was what the one here. That's why you can see the black line on what this area here. Okay. So let me do this. Okay. Then the lowest it has ever gone as well. The lowest it ever went, it was what? If you watch from this area here, okay, coming down. See that the high here was never swept, so this is the only high there. Coming down to this downside, this was once a low, but it got swept. Okay, then this is the lowest it has ever gone to. That's why you can see that one also there. Okay, and so that's how you mark your daily range. That's how you mark your daily range. But you see, this is too tedious. Okay, and you see the red line is exactly on the dotted line. This is too tedious. Be doing this every day is too tedious. So there's an indicator for it. Okay, and the indicator is called no duplicate interval ranges and EQ. So if you want to add that indicator, you go here and you click on it, then you search for no duplicate. I've already started. It's done by Rampy Pumpy, whatever his name is. So 1.5k people are using it, and it's no duplicate interval range and EQ. And when you open it, you can copy my settings after adding it to your this thing. your chart. And this is my settings for it. Okay, these are all my settings. Everything is actually turned off. I turn everything off here. Everything here is turned off. Actually, everything is actually turned off. Okay. The only thing that is turned on is what? The daily levels EQ. So you see that if you watch the chart here, when I click on this thing here, you see it's gone. Do you understand? But when I click it, it comes back. Then you can choose a color for it. Then you align with. Then you save it. Then you move on. Okay, so it's very tedious to be doing that every day. So I just use that daily interval in EQ to know my daily EQ. And why do I need my daily EQ? I need my daily EQ because it shows me premium and discount of what? The daily range. Okay. It shows me that I'm in premium or I'm in discount. And what do we do in premium? We sell in premium. And what do we do in discount? We buy in discount. Okay. So we sell in premium, we buy in discount. Sell in premium, we buy in discount. Okay, so we sell in premium. So above the daily EQ is what? Above the daily EQ, above the daily EQ like this. Okay, so for this Friday here, okay, anything above the daily EQ is what? Premium. Okay, and anything below the daily EQ is what? Discount. Okay, so we sell here, we buy here. We sell here, we buy here. You need to consider those things also. Okay, but I'll tell you that it's not always the fact because there are days where there will be a swing low, there will be a swing low, okay, around the premium zone. And you know that whenever I see a swing low, I want to buy. But if you see a swing low around this area here, price to sweep it, but it will be in a premium zone. But in a premium zone, we sell. Do you understand? Then you just take that. I just take that risk and what move on because I'm trading my model. So I don't like necessarily put much more focus on that premium and discount. Okay, that's for me. I don't necessarily put much more focus there. You understand? So I've already listed out what I do, and I'm going to give you an example of how it looks like to trade from 9:30 to 11. Okay, so we are going to pick a random date. Okay, so I'll be doing the replay session here. We are going to pick a random date, and as I said, I trade from the what? The 1 hour. So I actually open my chart. The first thing I go is the 1 hour chart. And I'm looking for a liquidity sweep from 9:30 to 11. So we're going to pick a random date here. So random bar, as you see here, random bar. I'll click again. Then I'm going to click for the third time. Okay. So now we have our random date. We have our random date set. Okay. And the random date that we had was Thursday, 11th of February. Okay, Thursday, 11th of February. And on that day, we've already passed the 9 o'clock candle, where the 9, you see 9:30 to what? 11. Okay, so which means that we need to move on to Friday. Okay, we need to move on to Friday. So let's move on to Friday, 9 o'clock. Okay, Friday, 9 o'clock. This 3 o'clock. And this is 6 o'clock. This is 7. And this is what? 8 o'clock. Okay, so but before that, you should remember that you need to check your forex calendar. Okay, so Friday the 12th of February, Friday the 12th of February 2016. Actually, nah, okay. Come, let me start over again because I can't. If I go to the 1 minute, they won't allow me because of the premium versions that I have. Okay, so let me cancel this and start all over again. Sorry, leave this one here. Move to the 1 minute. Do this. So on the 1 minute, I'm going to choose a random date so that you can actually get something better. So random bar, and I'm going to do it the second time. And I'm going to do it the third time. Okay. So I'm just doing it 3 times so that you know that everything is random here. Okay. I'm not picking any date. I'm just doing random stuff. So I go to the 1 hour, then I start the analysis from here. So now we get Monday 30th of March. Took us to Monday 30th of March. 30th of March. Okay. So Monday 30th of March. So that one also we at 7 o'clock. We'll be moving towards 9 o'clock. Okay, so we press this one, then we get the 7 o'clock candle, but we want the 9 o'clock candle, but this is the 8 o'clock candle. So this is what I do. Anytime it's 8 o'clock, okay, I move to it. I open my laptop, I open my charts, then I check trading view here. So let's go to March. So this is 2026 March. Yeah, 2026 March, Monday 2nd of March. Okay, so Monday the 30th of March, sorry. Monday the 30th of March, okay. Powell was speaking around 10:30. Okay, so we would want to be trading either after 10:30 or what exit our trades before what 10:30. You understand? So if you don't get any setup before 10:30, you just have to trade after 10:30. You understand? So you don't need to, because whenever you see red folder news like this, they are like incoming train. You wouldn't want to stand in front of a moving train because you get what? You get wrecked. You get So uh, there is news at 10:30. Okay, then we need to move towards 9:30. But so after I've checked my first calendar, okay, and I know what is happening on that day for the red folders, I come to my chart, I prepare my Nasdaq chart, I prepare my ES chart, I move to the 1 hour on both of them, then I start marking liquidity levels. When I say liquidity levels, I've already explained them to you. Buy stops and sell stops. So something like this, which is a buy stop, I call it a 1 hour buy stop. Okay, then I do the same thing here. So one thing you should note is that liquidity levels should exist on both Nasdaq and ES. I'm going to repeat myself again. Liquidity levels, they should exist on both Nasdaq and ES. If they don't exist here and they exist here, you don't need to use them. Okay. So I mark liquidity levels and the same thing here. Okay. So these are potential liquidity levels that when it's 9:30, price can actually what come to see. So you see, as I just said, at 6 o'clock, there is a swing low here. Okay. But if you check here, okay, on ES, you see it doesn't form a swing low here. You see, this is not a swing low. See, this 6 o'clock. You see, the candle on the left has it low longer than the middle candle, and the one after slow doesn't reach. So you see, it's just a what, an up move, and there's no swing low here. Do you understand? So you remove this one here, just as I just said right now. Okay. Yes. Then we look to see if there are more liquidity levels. There are ones up there, but these are the ones that we'll just focus on now. So I mark my liquidity levels, then I wait for what? I wait for 9:30. Again. So you just have to wait for 9:30. Wait for 9:30. Yes. For my on my chart, I have an indicator that marks this thing for me. Okay. This thing here. It's from the ICT key zones and pivot indicator. So that one, so you come here, then you type ICT, sorry, ICT key zones and pivot by trade for up 51.3 k users. This one is ICT key zones plus pivot TFO. Okay, for that one, so you come, then follow the ones I have here, the same settings. If you want, you can do your own style. These are my settings that I use. Okay, these are all my settings that I use. So for the 930, that vertical line that you can see on both Nasdaq and ES, it's actually from this indicator. Okay, and I think it's down there. I'm going to show you how to enable it. So there's it. You see, when I press this, you see it's gone. And when I press it, see it comes back. Okay, and I want it as orange. So from 9:30 to 11 o'clock, you see this line here. Okay, so it shows me that whenever I see this line on my chart, it shows me that it's 9:30. So I should be ready to trade or be ready to take IFVGs off of liquidity sweeps with SMT. Okay, so after doing this, save as, then we go to OK. So and you can see the date down here with the symbol. That one is also from this indicator, AGFX watermark. You search for that one also around that area here, then you can do the customizations on. And I think this one is much more simpler than the other two. Okay, so as at 9:30, I look for liquidity sweeps. Okay, and I've already marked two liquidity sweeps at the top here. And we already know that there is no liquidity sweep down there, because on the 1 hour there is nothing down here. Okay, and as I just said, look at our daily EQ is. Our daily EQ is here, and you see we are above the daily EQ. So what would we be doing? We'll be looking for what shorts, selling, sell setups, and what do we have here? Buy stops. So in the case where price chooses to what sweep this liquidity and what come down for us, it's a good thing because we're actually above the daily EQ and we're in a premium zone and want to sell. So the only thing I'm looking for, waiting for here is what? A liquidity sweep with an SMT. Okay. So on the 1 minute, I look for a liquidity sweep with an SMT. So I'm still waiting. It's 9:30, but I'm still waiting. Okay, I still have to wait. Okay, and one thing you guys should note: the daily EQ can serve as a liquidity zone. The daily EQ can serve as a liquidity zone that can bounce price in the opposite direction. For example, you see the way price is heading towards the daily EQ. This daily EQ can serve as a what? A support zone that can push price up, and it happens like often, most of the time. Okay, so in a case where the daily EQ gets broken here, okay, and the retest it like this, it will go down, it will push price lower. So now you see that after breaking this level, when the retest it, instead of it to bounce here and go up, it has broken it. So here, instead of it to become support, it becomes resistance. Then pushes price lower. So that's the importance of having a daily EQ. We have two importance. It determines premium and discount, and the other one, it can serve as a liquidity level to push price either up or down. So we are heading towards landing low. Okay, but the reason why I'm not interested in this landing low is because it doesn't exist on the 1 hour. Okay, so there are a lot of rules that I need to follow before I take a trade. Okay, the landing low is around somewhere here. Okay, and this year, which is 2 o'clock, landing is from 2 to 5. New York is from 9:30 to 11. So since landing is from 2 to 5, it starts from here, and you can see there is no swing. This candle here didn't form a swing blue. Okay, so I don't put much more focus on it. Do you understand? So I just mark my levels and I wait. Okay, so most of the time, all what I'm doing is just waiting. I just wait. Okay, so we just wait. Okay, and you can see we are approaching 11 o'clock and still we have no trade. See, we are approaching 11 o'clock and still we have no trade. And this is mostly what we do on the market. We wait for liquidity levels to be swept. Then we take the trade. But now I have marked two liquidity levels on the 1 hour. They've not been swept. Therefore, I don't do what? I don't take the trade. Do you understand? It almost swept around this area here. Even if it had pushed up a little, sweep this liquidity, I would have looked for the short and sell. But I didn't do that. So I'm just there. Again, I'm just there, like I'm looking for something, I'm not finding it. I'm just sitting down waiting. Again, you need to be so patient with yourself and the setup. That's what you are looking for. Okay, and you can see we are approaching 11 o'clock, and it's 11 o'clock. Wait. Yes, it's 11 o'clock here. Okay. And which means that what I'm done with what my session. If I'm done with my session, I trade once a day. If I'm done with my session, it means I'm done with what? I'm done with trading today. And today I didn't get any setup because the only liquidity level that I was looking for, it never came to sweep it. Okay. It came close, but what it went in the opposite direction. It was actually bouncing off the daily queue, like I said. Okay. After sweeping the what? The landing loose, which around this area here. Okay. After sweeping the landing loose, it was playing around that area there. Okay, and this is not what I was looking for today. I'm looking for liquidity levels that exist on the 1 hour. So me on the 1 hour, I'm very careful. Okay, on the 1 hour. Okay, the liquidity levels that I mark, I'm very careful about them because if they are not right or if they are not okay, taking the trade will be very difficult. Okay, so when you see me marking landing high, landing low, but price is sweeping landing low, but I'm still sitting there and not doing anything. It shows you that what that low or here doesn't, even though price might what sweep it and move in the opposite direction like how we want. Okay, the fact that price is sweeping it doesn't mean that what it is what I want. Okay, and actually, even sweeping it is not even forming SMT because this guy swept it here and this guy also saw come to sweep it. Okay, there is no failure from here. They are all sweeping it. You get me? So I need a liquidity sweep with an SMT. If there is a liquidity sweep and there is no SMT, I'm not taking the trade. So something like this, I just close my chart. I'm done for the day because it's 11 o'clock. You get me? Then I move on to the next day. So just like this, we move on to the next day. So we move on to 31st. 31st, this 1 o'clock, which is a Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we had a news at 10 o'clock. And as I said, if there is news, look at the time. The time is 10. Since it's what? Since it's 10, it shows you that what? You need to enter a trade. If you are going to have a setup, get a setup before 10. Don't be in the setup when it is 10 o'clock, or else you laugh at the wrong side of your mouth. And if you are going to enter a trade, either you enter it before 10 o'clock or after 10 o'clock. Okay. Don't enter it exactly at 10 or don't be in a trade when it's 10 o'clock. You should, exit your positions and liquidate all your positions. Okay. So right now, Tuesday, there is news at 10. So the same thing. I move on to what? The 8 o'clock candle, then what? I wait for the 9:30 what? Opening bell. Okay. So now on the 1 hour, this is 8 o'clock. Okay. Let me make this. So uh, let me fix this. Okay. Okay. So this is, let me send this thing here. Sorry. So this is 8 o'clock. Okay. This is 8 o'clock and it's the same thing here. Okay. This is 8 o'clock candle on ES and this is 8 o'clock candle on what? NASDAQ. But what do I want? I want the 9:30. Okay. I want the 9:30. Now I need to mark liquidity levels before 9:30. Okay. And liquidity levels, and also note liquidity levels. Okay, let me tell you, I want virgin liquidity levels, levels that haven't been swept. If a level has been swept, I don't consider it. If the level has been swept on ES and it hasn't been swept on NASDAQ, I would never consider it. I want liquidity levels on NASDAQ and ES that are virgin, like this high here. Okay, if you check, the high here is a what? A 1 hour buy side liquidity. This swing high here hasn't been swept. If you check the same thing here, you see that what? This swing high hasn't been swept. There is another one here. Okay, you can check that what? That one is also a virgin high. And if you check the one here, you can also see that what? This is a virgin high. Okay, price never swept it. You can. So I mark what this liquidity level before 9:30. Price never swept it. There is a small space here. Okay, shows you that price never reached it. Okay, then I mark the ones here. This is a sell side liquidity. Okay, then I mark these ones also here, which is also a sell side liquidity. Okay, but if I watch here, you can, as I just said, if you look at this liquidity here, if you look at this liquidity here, I think this is what, this is a virgin swing low, which was around 3 o'clock. Now, if you go to mark the same thing here, you can see that what, it's creating what, relatively equal lows with what, 6 o'clock. Okay, you can see, if you squeeze, you see that what, this is a virgin low. You can buy it in close proximity to the what, the 6 o'clock 1 hour sell side liquidity. So I feel like if price sweeps this one, then it will ultimately sweep this because it's so close. You get me? So I wouldn't need to mark it. You get me? But you see the one here, the liquidity level here, the swing low here at what, 1 o'clock. If you mark this one here, you see that what, they got swept at what, they got swept at what, 3 o'clock. And if I do the same thing here, you see that what, this one is what, this one hasn't been swept. So it's trying to show you that what, at 3 o'clock there was an SMT around this area here, but this guy here has already what, defiled the liquidity at 1 o'clock. Therefore this is not a virgin liquidity, because the liquidity I'm talking about, the 1 o'clock here, this liquidity here is not a virgin liquidity. It has already been defiled by the 3 o'clock what, swing low. Sorry, the 3 o'clock low. Okay, the candle low of 3 o'clock. Okay, so I don't need to mark this one here because that's not a virgin low. A virgin high and a virgin low should be a swing low and swing high. That hasn't been swept on both what, ES and Nasdaq. Okay, so these are my swing highs and my swing lows that I'll be looking at 9:30. Okay, so I'll wait for 9:30 to sweep one of them, then I'll look for the what, either the long or the short. But look at our daily EQ. As I just said, sometimes I don't pay much attention to the word premium and discount. Price can what, fall directly, sweep this liquidity here, then I'll need to buy. But I should know that what, after sweeping this liquidity, I'll be buying in what, premium zone. You get me? That's what I'm saying. I don't normally, I'm just trading my model. Okay. The daily EQ is just there to tell me that what, oh, if I'm above it, I should sell. If I'm below it, I should what, I should buy. Okay. But I don't pay much attention to that. Okay. So when I move to the 1 minute, I'm looking for what, the 9:30 opening bell. I need the 9:30. Okay. So I'm looking for the vertical orange line. Yes. Now we have the vertical orange line here. Okay. There, so this is around this. The next one was 9:31. So you can see that my liquidity levels have been marked. Everything has been set, and I'm looking for the sweep. Okay. So I need a sweep of liquidity. Okay. So price is doing at 10. Good. Good. Okay. It keeps on doing at 10. Okay, we are approaching one what? Yes, we've swept this liquidity here. This, the second one, this one here. Okay, we've swept it. Okay, so after the sweep, we call this what, SMT. Okay, so now this is what we call SMT. Okay, this is what we call SMT. Okay, so you see that what, the liquidity here has been swept on what, has been swept on ES, but on Nasdaq it hasn't been swept. You understand? So from here, I look for an inversion fair value gap on the Nasdaq, but you can see that what, there is no inversion fair value gap in what, this area here. There is no inversion fair value gap in this area here. Do you understand? So we wait. Again, so most of the time in this industry, all what you are doing is just waiting. So you wait, you keep on waiting. Okay, keep on waiting. Just as I said, sorry. Um, okay, so you see, there's an inversion gap here. Okay, I told you that sometimes I trade Nasdaq, sometimes I trade ES, but on this one, we'll just be trading just Nasdaq. Okay, you can go for this inversion gap here. Okay, you can go for this inversion gap here. Wait for the closure of this inversion gap, which is it is doing here. Okay, and you can see the momentum through the candle. When you go for the short, you put your stop loss around this area here, then aim for 1:1. You get it? But we are not seeing that on Nasdaq. Okay, so I want to be trading Nasdaq. I'm not seeing any inversion gap yet. Okay, just as I said, you get it. So you need to be so patient with yourself. Okay, that's why I always tell you that I don't trade yes most of the time. The only thing I trade is Nasdaq. Just as you show, price went straight into your stop loss zone. You get it? Yes, so you need to wait. Okay, I can see an inversion here. There's an inversion gap here, which is the first inversion gap. Okay, so me, I trade the first inversion gap after the liquidity sweep. You get me? So the first inversion gap after the liquidity sweep, I need price to close below it. And just as I said, I need price to close below it. It kept on going up. So now our second level has been swept. So let's remove this one. Then let's remove this one. Then let's focus on that one, which is the one here. Okay. So still there is no trade, and we are just around 9:49. And then there is news at 10 o'clock. So we wait. So we wait. We wait. We wait. We wait. I'm still looking for the inversion gap to form. Yes. So now we have an inversion around this area here. Okay. Around here. And it's 9:56. There is 4 minutes into 10 o'clock. You can choose to wait, or you can choose to enter the trade and risk it. Do you get it? So if you go here and short, put your stop loss here and aim for 1:1 around this area here. Okay, there we have it. Okay, so we see 9:58, 9:59, 10 o'clock. Now this is why you need to wait for this is why you need to wait for news. You understand? You need to wait for news before you take the trade. Do you get me? But for me, if I'm supposed to take this trade, I'll be taking cash out around 50% into my TP level, which is around here. Okay, so after I sell here and price goes 0.56 into my TP level, I take partial here, then I throw my stop loss to break even. You get me? That's exactly what I do. But for me, I always take partials. You understand? I always take partials. Now, so this is the reason why I need to wait for news. Do you get me? Because you are going to be selling around here, which is 4 minutes, getting to 10 o'clock. Okay, and you are going to be trading like, is it 3 minutes or 4 minutes? Okay, 56, so 4 minutes to 10 o'clock. Okay, which is a very risky move to do. You get me? Because your TP, who knows, your TP might not hit under 4 minutes. You get me? So you need to be very careful. Okay, so for me, I will wait because I wouldn't take this risk here. Okay, I wouldn't take that risk. I'll just wait for price to do whatever it wants to do. Then I will go forward the trade. Do you get me? You can see there's another liquidity level here, okay, which I didn't mark. Let's mark that one. Let's remove this one here. Okay, then let's bring this one here. Okay, but you can see that liquidity level was at 11 o'clock. The same thing for occurs here. So go to the 1 minute. Let's see if you get SMT there, and that liquidity level has already been swept. I think it's already been swept here. Okay, sure. Okay. I think the liquidity level has already been swept. So that's the sweep of the liquidity here, around 9:54. Okay. Yes, as I said, if me, I'll take this trade I'll hit break even. Okay, I already may hitting full TP. Again, around somewhere here, go for here, then I go for 0.5. Okay, I go for 0.5. I take partial here, and I throw my stop loss to break even. Then I aim for the rest, which is down there. But unfortunately, the price takes me out at break even, then goes straight from where my stop loss was originally. Okay, so on this day, I would have been a break even trade. Again, it would have been a break even trade, and this is exactly what I do from 9:30 to 11, like liquidity sweep. I have a picture here, this one. So this is what I do. Okay, I wait for the liquidity sweep, which is the horizontal line here, the liquidity sweep, the SMT, then the inversion gap, then I wait for the other move up. So this is like a market maker model. Okay, that is a market maker buy model. Okay, this is a market maker buy model. And if you turn it upside down, also that will be a market maker sell model. Okay, something of this sort. I wait for the liquidity sweep, then the liquidity sweep, the inversion gap, the SMT around this area here, then look for the sell. You can, yeah. And all this should be happening after what 9:30, at or after 9:30, not before it. Okay, so this what I have for you guys, and then thank you for watching. Bye.